Hello. So this is my chapter 4. My name's Cameron. This is my chapter 4 takeaway. So to start off with, this chapter begins with the story of Lil Nas X and his rise to fame with the help of social media, but most importantly, TikTok. And this is just kind of like a beginner to what it talks about as well in here about how TikTok is truly so powerful. I also didn't know that Lil Nas X was from Georgia, and he went to the University of West Georgia, so that was kind of cool. And this is, like I said, it's just one example of how it shows the true power that TikTok holds. It really does have the ability to change small artists' life, and it really integrates them into the pop culture, which has lifelong effects. I've seen this definitely just with smaller artists or people who weren't even thinking about doing music full time, but just putting out like maybe one song, and then it hits TikTok and then everybody loves it, and then it completely changes their life and they do go into the music industry. Another thing that I thought was really cool was kind of the switch from CD sales to digitalized versions of music. I definitely do believe it was a complete pivot for the music industry and the effortlessness of how people can access their favorite music. Along with this, this has happened. People still like to connect with like the old ways to listening to music. So, for example, me, I love to collect cool vinyls of artists that I really like and of music that I really like. And I've gotten a few vinyls where I have pictures where like the artists have signed the pictures in them. So I think that's just a way to kind of connect with the times. And yeah, but definitely the switch from CDs to iTunes to streaming services. I remember when I was a kid, I'm pretty young, but I'm old enough where I grew up with iPods and where there were no streaming services. It was only the iTunes store. So all the music that I wanted, I had to beg my mom to like buy a song for me, but definitely the change to streaming services has completely changed that. And I'm not sure if like I think iTunes still exists. Yeah, I think so, but it's not popular. Um Another thing that was really cool was just the overall history of sound recording, which was a big chunk of this chapter. I think it's just crazy how the first recording machine was made from, they said, a funnel that had hog's hair bristle to vibrate the sound wave. So it was used as like a needle, and it it vibrated to like as sound was produced. And then they talk about how it was mostly used for just talking, and then obviously it has evolved for music. What I also thought was really cool was the chart from 1999 to 2011 2019, and basically how people bought their music. So 88% of people bought their music, listened to their music from CDs in 1999. In 2011, it was split between CDs and digital downloads. And then there were a couple other ones, but they're not as big as those two. And then in 2019, that was where it changed to 79% was streaming. And also, like I said, what I thought was cool was like the physical CDs and vinyls. It still has about 10% of the music sales. So I think just that's just an example of, I think, people my age just really liking to stay connected with in that way. Yeah, basically every new way to listen to music has become easier and easier to do. And what I liked, what it said in the chapter, was it changed from ownership to access. And then the section that really stood out to me the most was the pop music section. Basically, this is the genre I listen to the most, which it immediately caught my eye. And I would say I'm very much integrated to like the pop music culture for sure. Like I listen to all the new music and I watch all the award shows. Like I watched the Grammys 1 or 2 weeks ago, and I just thought it was weird to find out that it has existed way before the phonograph and the radio. Um, when I think of pop music, I think of just modern pop music, but I never really thought about when pop music officially started in culture. Um, and it was fun to learn that the mass production of sheet music created quote unquote popular songs, which was a major money maker for businesses. And it was also kind of connected to changing or creating jazz music and the blues from the mass popularity of sheet music. The last thing I'll talk about that really intrigued me was making, selling, and profiting from music and how this process actually goes. So labels find artists, they create the music, and then it's put out on streaming platforms, and then they get the royalties from it and the money from it. Streaming is the most popular, obviously, but like I said, some people are still really connected with like CDs and vinyls. So that it's really cool that part of the money that they get is definitely coming from that. Along with these, it was really cool to learn that the artists and their labels also get mass amounts of royalties for a lot of different reasons. I know music is definitely like, it's a touchy subject when you're trying to use it for something, especially when you're making money off of using it. So it does make sense that they would get all these royalties. So it's like when it's put in films, when it's performed on television. Like they use an example of like when people perform on SNL, and then obviously when it's on the radio. So yeah, I really liked this chapter. I love listening to music. I love pop music. I just love it's not perfect, obviously, but I do love pop culture. So yeah, thank you so much.